It was. All righty. So thank you very much. I am super excited to be here and I am super excited to talk about this topic. I really want to thank you, Paul. And I really want to thank you for giving all of you the opportunity to look in depth. Last week, we looked at Google Business Profiles, and now this week, we're going to be able to do an in-depth look at review and reputation management. And I don't want to speak for Paul, mostly because this is his Zoom and, he's right there. He can interrupt me at any time. But I really think that he's recognized that this is no longer optional. This is no longer a nice to have anymore. This is really a critical aspect of our business, and we have to have this in place to be successful. And that's for independent agents, independent brokers, but it's really for anybody that runs a business, any business owner, truly. We all live and die by our reputations. And right now, that reputation starts online. The problem seems to be that some of us are great in person. We're great when you're eye to eye and you do the handshake and the whole thing. But some of us have yet to figure out that little pesky internet thing. Mostly, I'm a tech person. I've been living and dying by tech for 20 years. Don't tell anybody the 20 part. But we've we know that it's important, but you forget you're running your business. You're busy doing that. So it's hard to kind of do all these extra things. And not for nothing, the technology changes every time you blink. So you need a guide to kind of help you through all of this. So we know it's important. We know we're busy. Today, I'm going to show you how to attract more customers and how one simple solution can give you raving fans that'll sell for you. So that's really important because if you don't do it, your competition will, or they might have already done it. So there's no time like the present. Let's jump right in and get started. Alrighty. So just a little context of the three parts. So last week, like I said, we went over Google Business Profile. Happy to get you stuff on that as well. This week, we're going over attracting more customer activity. We went through 5 tips last week. We're going to go through 6 through 10 this week. And then next week, everybody should come on back. Same bat time, same bat channel. Really dating myself with that reference, but we're going to go with that. But we're going to put it all together next week and really talk about secret weapons and how you can stand out from your competition. So if you miss the first one, or if you have somebody that's missing this one, bring a friend next time around and we'll go through all of it concisely in an hour and get you in and out and get you all the information that you need. So that gives you the roundup of what you can expect. Okay. What are tips 6 through 10, you might ask? So today we're really going over, like I said, the attracting more customers. It's through review management, right? We're using Google reviews to get that virtual cash register or that real cash register or that payment gateway, whatever you have, however you're getting money from your customers. We're getting that register to sing, right? So this is how we leverage reviews and raving fans to sell your products. The tips that we're going to go over are why reviews matter. Stop sending customers to our competition. Nobody wants to do that. You can be nice. You don't have to be that nice, right? How to attract new customers, managing reviews. I'm actually going to show you how to reply to a review. And then we're going to go over how customers use Google to choose how they do business. That's going to put you right in the shoes of your customer, right in the mind of your customer to show you how they're using Google, because you need to know that because you want to make sure that you're the one that they're doing business with, right? So a little bit more, I'm going to try not to fumble, and although it was a really funny word mistake on your intro, I'm not going to read all of this to you either. But who am I and why am I talking to you about this? Like when I am sitting through a talk, that's the first thing that runs through my mind. Well, just think of it from the perspective of I've been there and I've done that. And now I'm committed to helping business owners. That's why I'm so passionate about this, right? I'm Donna O'Leary, like Paul said. I'm of bold endeavors. I actually left the corporate world. I had a role as a chief information officer or a CIO. It's just a fancy term. that says I managed huge statewide operations and all of the computer networks and processes and people and all the technology. My firm now provides a wealth of advanced digital marketing services. But what I found in talking to business owners and as a certified review lead partner is I made this huge realization. I had all these super advanced things that people could do. And sometimes I had people asking me to do some of that, but they didn't necessarily have their marketing foundations in order. And they needed those first before they did those other things, or they were going to be sending people to their competition. And I'm not going to take money from people just to send them to their competitors, right? So I'd talk about the marketing foundations, and Google Business Profiles and review management is by far the best place for people to start. In running a small business, everybody needs to increase your customer activity. And exactly nobody has time to deal with it, at least not consistently. So today I'm sharing this at Paul's request to help you. And like I said, I'm not gonna read this whole slide. I've been doing this, let's just say a long time. Let's not date me. Okay. But I've been an executive at C-level manager. I've got a strong background in project management, like Paul said. I've got a depth of knowledge in digital marketing, and as a certified partner in Review Lead, that's not a software, that's actually a done for you service. I actually now offer a wealth of knowledge about Google Business Profiles in review management, all of which are crucial for your business owners. So let's dig in. All right. So, why your reviews matter. Some things never change. All right. So, this old adage is as true now as it ever was, even if nobody can seem to agree on who actually said this quote. Right. So, I did Google it. There's no real consensus. That's why you see two citations here. But the quote is, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. And there's a reason more than one person is claiming that this is their quote, right? It's a real good one, right? But we want to unpack this as it relates to your online presence today, right? Because when Will Rogers or Oscar Wilde said it, they weren't talking about the internet. Okay, so continuing on that, why reviews matter, right? What changed? Well, time changed, literally. So not just that time passed, but now everybody wants something fast. We got fast food, we got microwaves, we got videos, and like movies went from what they used to be 3 hours to now they're 90 minutes. Now it's 30 or 60-second clips. We've got social media, you're trusting influencers, we've got unboxing reviews and for products or services, and Google happened, right? Google actually encourages people to be local guides and review many, many places. I actually act as a local guide. I get emails from Google that tell me how many times my review has been of use to people. So I got an email this morning that said, "Oh, this review's been viewed 8,000 times." Your reviews get looked at a lot. So it's important that you understand how these are being leveraged and what Google is doing behind the scenes. Because unless you're a local guide, you don't know that those emails are being sent out, right? But they want to tell me how many people I've helped, and they want me to continue to do the reviews because that's their business model. Google wants to make a good experience so they keep people coming back, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I think they nailed it because everybody keeps coming back to Google, right? Mostly because they get what they're searching for, and sometimes they get more. So on this slide, we're kind of going over the what was and what is now. So in the past, we had personal referrals, and our website was their first impression. And we might spend hours researching something. That all added up to a lot of time and a lot of money, right? Fast forward, pun intended. Now we rely on reviews. Customers often see your business profile before they even see your website. And that's how they're making some of their buying decisions. And instead of hours of researching, Googling's now a thing. There's a reason that word's in the dictionary, right? So let's dive in a little bit further to get into some of the how. So we talked about the first impression being huge. We talked about it happening online before you ever see the person. And what's important to know is that Google has really changed the game, right? But you can't play a game if you don't know what the rules are. And you certainly can't win a game if you don't know the rules, right? So that's why we're here today. We want to make sure, and you're investing your time to be here so that you can win at business. And Google will actually help you as long as you know the rules. So I'm here to help you navigate so that you know the rules so that you can win. Okay. So in this slide, we're looking at the near, where, and best, right? Mobile searches or what we call local searches, which if you're a local business, these are a godsend, right? That's what most of us want and need for our business to succeed. These are the type of searches that add things like near me or where to buy. These type of searches actually increased over 200% in the past 2 years. That's huge. That means searches like insurance agents near me, where to buy insurance, things like that, those increase 200%. There's 200% more people looking for us, right? We need to make sure that we can get out in front of them, but you need to know the rules, right? One of those rules is if I, as a consumer, put in a filter word like best, I'm going to filter out everyone that does not have a rating of 4.0 or better. And you can search this yourself and find out and see how that works. I get a lot of comments on that. Like, well, that's not fair. Can Google do that? Oh my God, what's going on? Right? We've got to remember Google's working their business and their business model. They want to give their customer the best experience. We need to work within their rules in order for us to win the game, right? We're just along for the ride, but it's a free ride. If we're playing our cards right, we can make a lot of money at it. So we're here to make sure that you understand the rules and you understand the numbers. So a little bit more about those numbers and some of the comments and the complaints that I get. So I get a lot of like, well, why is Google doing this? And can I live without them? And can I work around them? And what are the tricks? And how do I do it without them? Can you live without Google? No, no, you can't. No, they're all over the place. You've got to play their game and you've got to work with them. Why? It's simple math. Look at that blue circle. That entire circle represents all the searches in the search engine market. All of that blue is what Google owns. It's over 90%, right? Google's responsible for 5.9 million searches per minute. That's a lot of searches, right? Top ranking Google searches get over 20% of people clicking on them. When you have 5.9 million searches a minute, that makes up some real money. So, you look at what you've got down on the bottom, those are single digits, right? We got to play Google's game. And we got to know what the numbers are and we got to know what the rules are. So just a little bit, this isn't going to be a whole presentation on stats, I promise. But just a little more so that you've got context. It's important, and these numbers are why your reviews are important. 46% of Google searches have local intent or that like near me kind of information. 78% of smartphone users visit a business within one day of discovering it through local search. So within 24 hours of someone searching for insurance agents near me, they might be in your office, right? Or searching for jewelry stores near me, they might be in the jewelry store, right? So when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense because I'm just going to pull my cell phone out of my back pocket or out of my purse. I might be a street over looking for something like right now. These are hot buyers. That 200% increase are probably hot buyers. And we want to make sure that we can make the most of those. Okay. So there's a lot on this slide. I'm not going to go over all of it. I just want to show you a couple pieces. So We talked about the first impression. We talked about, it happens before we ever even see the person. This pyramid is talking about the importance of the marketing foundation, right? I just want you to look at this circle part. This is part of like a 60 or 90-minute presentation that I give separately. I'm not going to go through all of that. We don't have that kind of time. But we're really talking about the marketing foundation here. Because what I found in talking to people is a lot of people have like bits and pieces of a marketing foundation. And they might even have bits and pieces of the advanced stuff, but they don't have the full marketing foundation. So they're not making the most of anything on that pyramid until you get that good base and that good foundation. So an example like that is I had somebody come to me and say, "Hey, I want to pay you to do Facebook ads. Can you do that?" Well, I can do that, but should you be doing that? What's your Google review? Right. And they had like a 3 X score. And I said, "No, I won't run ads for you." And they were like, "What?" Somebody else was going to charge me $800 or $1,000 a month to do this. And I said, "I can't in good conscience take your money because I'm just going to send people to your competitors. I'm not going to do that to you." And then I explained why, and they understood the strength of your Google profile and how important your reviews were, right? Because unless you get that foundation, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to spend, you're going to spend a ton of money, but you're not going to get the results you want. You get some results? Yeah, but you're not going to get good results, right? I also want to call to your attention this piece. This actually is a screenshot. I feel so strongly about this. This is literally from the back of my business card. This is what my business card says, right? So that tells you how strongly I believe in it. Now, everybody's probably familiar with the Bob Berg quote, the know you, like you, trust you. You're going to hear that a lot throughout today, right? Um, but how does that relate to our online presence and why reviews matter? Well, that helps you establish credibility. And in order to know you, people need to find you online. So everything you've read or know about marketing and business in person, you have to shift that a little bit when you think about your online presence, right? But that's where people are shopping and that's where they're making all of those pre-buying decisions. So the people that make those shifts, those are the people that succeed. The people that don't make that turn, that don't make those shifts, those are the people that are struggling. So in order to know you, people need to find you online, right? In order to like you, people need to see a detailed profile so that they can learn why they should like you. Because remember, they're finding your business profile a lot of times before they're even finding your website. And they need to know, like, and trust you there first. And then in order to trust you, people need to see great reviews. They want to see what other people say. They don't want to just hear it from you or a commissioned salesperson. They want to hear what an independent third party is saying about you. Because it's one thing when you say great things about you, but it's a totally different thing when somebody else says that about you. That's when people really trust you. And that's the power of reviews. So moving on, I took two of the next tips and I put them on one slide. That's because it's really two sides of one coin, right? These are things that you want to make sure you do and things that you want to make sure you avoid, right? So that customers choose you and not your competition. So you need to make sure that you are the very clear choice, that there's no ambiguity. They look at it and they go, "Yep, Paul's my guy. That's who I'm going with." Right. Because a confused mind is not going to buy. So we need to make sure that we stop sending people to our customers and we do that by attracting them to us. Right. So let's get into that a little bit more. I'm going to assume you already have a Google business profile. If you do not, please run and get one. Um, and that your reviews have been managed to attract new customers because not managing them or not managing them well will only send your customers to your competition. So, how do we do that though? How am I supposed to manage my stuff? Right. Well, you need the 3 C's of your profile. It needs to be complete, it needs to be compelling, and it needs to be current. And we'll get into a little bit of that more. But that's all because Google is shaking your customer's hand before you ever get a chance to. We have to realize that. That's just the way it is these days. Meeting eye to eye and shaking a customer's hand is great, but that is rarely the first impression these days. Google makes the first impression. And think about it from this perspective and how you can leverage Google to help you and how you can leverage your business profile and your reviews. So what if I told you I knew a salesperson and I was going to give them to you? They were going to work for you and they were going to generate leads. They were going to send you all the leads they got. And then they were going to tell prospective customers exactly what you wanted them to say and exactly how you wanted them to say it. And they were going to work for you 24/7, 365. They were never going to sleep and they were going to work for zero. They were going to do it all free of charge. And you got all of those leads. That is what your Google Business Profile does for you. And you get to tell it exactly what it says and how that works for you, right? Now, add reviews to that. You're really cooking with gas now. So now in that example, what I'm telling you is when prospective customers come into your office or come into your showroom, digital in this case, but they're coming into your office, you could surround them by raving fans. And these raving fans were telling stories about great products and services and why they chose to do business with you and why you should choose to do business with you as well. Just like your digital salesperson example, these raving fans would surround prospective customers 24/7, 365. They'd never sleep. They'd always be telling others how great you are. But this is not you talking, and this is not your salesperson that's on commission talking, but this is an independent third party. And what I always use as an example is there was a time that I was at a shoe store. I had a pair of sneakers in my hand, and a random woman comes up from behind me and she goes, "Oh my God, yes, totally. Those are so comfortable. I have them in blue. You should totally buy those. I absolutely love them." Now, in that example, am I more apt to buy those sneakers or less apt to buy those sneakers? Right. So fast forward, I bought the sneakers. Right. And she was right. They were super comfy. And I was really glad that I bought them. Right. So that's the power of your reviews. You get to create in your Google business profile and your reviews when you're managing them well. You're creating an environment where you surround your prospective customers with raving fans and they actually do the work for you. They're working while you're sleeping and they're telling other people how great you are and that they should buy things from you. It's a tremendous way to sell, right? So a little bit more about the breakdown of your good reputation. We all know that our reputation's online. In my opinion, this is the number one factor of how you build trust with your clients. And you don't have to think any further than shopping on Amazon. Like I think most everybody does that these days. And how are you using those reviews to impact your buying decisions? I don't know about you, but I don't even buy socks without like figuring out, what the reviews were and whether or not I should buy them and if it's going to fit and if it's going to be comfortable or, whatever the case may be. Um, it's critical that we monitor and manage our online review situation because we want to stand out amongst our competitors and be the clear choice. So under this green line here, you see what is important under your reviews. So a lot of people know about the average star rating and the total number of reviews. And there are some people that are going to stop there. But it's really important because a lot of people dig deeper and all of these make up the overall flavor of your review and they're all important. I'm going to get into them a little bit in a future slide, but write these down. These are writer downers, right? So these are average star rating, total number of reviews, review frequency, the age, your responsiveness, the overall sentiment. You've got to have all of this pulled together in order to have a solid review platform, right? And I'm not going to read the quotes to you. I'm sure you've read them already, but look at this. Close to 100% of people are reading online reviews about our local businesses. That's why this is important, right? So I also promised you that we were going to talk about how customers use Google to choose a business. So let's dive into that a little bit more. So we talked about the fact that people, prospective customers, they need to know, like, and trust us before they do business with us. They often make these pre-buying decisions online. This is before they meet us, and we understand now that Google is shaking their hand, and giving them the first impression of you, right? So Google is responsible for giving the first impression. Will it be a good one? Well, it can be. Just because Google may shake their hand first, that's great, but we have to understand that we've got a lot of control over what that customer sees when that handshake happens. We're the one that's filling that review with the information. So we talked about our profile, we talked about the 3 Cs, talked about it has to be complete, needs to be compelling. You want to keep it current, so it should always be changing. But how are customers choosing us, right? We talked about those ratings in the former slide. Here you actually see it real life. This is what it actually looks like. So your average star rating, here it is, right? The total number of reviews, how many you have. Like these 2 arrows, a lot of times people are going to be like, okay, peace out. I'm good. This is all I need. But a lot of people are going to go deeper, right? And those are the people that are analytical and logical decisions, and they want to know a little bit more about you before they're buying. It's also true if it's a more expensive buy or a more expensive or more important to them, more emotionally important, they're going to do a little bit more research. They're not going to make that, it's not a quarter, right? So they're going to go a little bit deeper. They want to know review frequency, like how often are these reviews? And is the business owner committed to the business? You may think that not managing your profile merely means you're not committed to Google. You're not committed to your Google business profile. But potential customers see this as your business, not an add on. So if you're not managing this, they think you're not managing your business, right? So then you also want to look at the age of your reviews, right? So people can click on newest. If the first thing that comes up is a year old, you're in trouble, right? So you want to know how new they are. The majority of people we've found in the studies that have been done is that they discount reviews that have not been left in the past 3 months. And studies show that that gap is getting even shorter. Customers want to see, just like I was talking about, fast food and microwaves and all that, like everything, was 3-hour movies. Now they want 60 seconds or TikTok clips, right? Customers want to see the most recent experience, and that makes sense. They want to know, like, is the business still open? Is it still the same owner? Are there still the same people working there? Am I going to have the same experience today that person that did a review a year ago had? Oh, I don't know. But if I see a review from a week ago, yeah, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have the same experience, right? And then they also want to see that you're responding to the reviews. This shows the responses, right? And they can sort by highest and lowest. Did you respond to both negative and positive reviews? Because that's important. That shows that you're committed to customer satisfaction, and that's what people want. And then they want to see the overall sentiment as well. And I'll show you this in action a little bit here. So let's see. So we're spending a lot of money on a lot of marketing. These are just some of the channels that we're doing. So using this one, if you're Good Earth, are they, and they're the ones that are spending the money on one or all of these channels, are they going to get their money's worth out of this? Or are they going to send people to their competitors? And this is a very subjective decision, and different people will make different decisions. Some people are going to look at this and they're going to say, oh, they got 26 reviews, I'm good, I'm going to choose them, and that's great. But some people are going to go, ooh, 3.3, no, and they're going to, oh, Lambert looks good, and they're going to grab their competitor, right? Still other people are going to be like, I'm totally confused, I'm going to do nothing. Right? So it's important. That's when I'm saying you need to be the clear choice. If you were 4.8 in 26, you're the clear choice, right? And everybody's going to click on this. And this is a numbers game. This is math, and we have to play the game right. So that gives you a little bit of an overview. All right. This is just another view of what you'll see and how people choose. And what I want you to take away from this is that Google's actually encouraging this. They're providing this, people always mention, and this ability to sort. They want their customers to browse. This is how they're providing value to their customers. And we want to let them, because we want to convert those customers into a customer that buys. We know from studies that people usually read at least 2 reviews before making a buying decision. So we want to make sure that they're good reviews. So, all right, I'm going to show you how to actually manage your reviews here real quick. First things first, I do want to mention, if you're going to manage reviews, first you got to get reviews, right? So you got to have a nice volume of reviews to have something to manage. I get a lot of questions from folks like, well, why are we even talking about this? This is so important. Why aren't people just doing it? Like, why do you need to tell people to do it? Well, there's a couple of challenges, and it's both on the business owner side and the customer side. So the 2 complaints I hear most often from business owners are, I don't have time to manage my reviews because they're busy running their business. And I ask, but nobody leaves them. And that's pretty much why I exist. I solve both of those problems for people. But there's also the challenge for the customers, right? And these are the things that the customers say. Well, I didn't have time, or I forgot, or I don't know how. So we need a systematic way to ask, because we need to encourage people to leave positive reviews, and we need to make it super, super simple, right? And I mean,
Donna, I got to interrupt.
yep.
I got to interrupt. And those on the call that know me know I'm terrible at interrupting. This happens a lot for me. I think this is a really important point. I get, especially what I do. So on continuing education, professionals have to come to me every 2 years to do their educational requirements to keep their license in force.
Sure.
And now, after doing thousands of CEs and being blessed with all these repeat customers, they'll often say to me, I left you a review last time. So
Sure.
the world out there is clearly not understanding the importance of a recent review. In their mind, Paul, we love you, you're great, and I'm not trying to blow me up, but it's really, but I get that all the time. I
Yeah.
left you a review last time. And we're all busy, sort of like, I maybe don't have the time to do another review, but I left you a great review 2 years ago.
Well, I would hope that if they really love you, in 2 years, they can find like a little spot of time in 2 years. And in some review places will not let you do a second one, right? Because you've already left the first one, but they could go to another channel. So if they've already left one on Google, then they can leave one on, say, Facebook or Better Business Bureau, or what have you. There's also specialized places, like if I'm a wedding planner, I'm going to be on the knot.com, because that's where they leave reviews. So, but they still need a Google business profile. So, you can double dip year one, or you can have them when they're coming back. And there's different ways. If you have a service like mine, or if you're using something else, or you just ask them, just get them to go through that process and leave them in different places. But you bring up a good point. Like, that's one of the objections. You have to overcome all of the objections we get, right? And a lot of times you'll be talking face to face with somebody, like say there was a dry cleaner. They're like, oh, could you leave me Oh, absolutely. You're fabulous. Da, da, da. But the time they bring those clothes out to the car and the kids are in the back seat, they're on their phone, they're going to do it, and the phone rings and they're off to the races with something else. And now they're pulling the car out. Now it's gone, right? If you don't ask them, they don't think again until they see you, right? So you need a systematic way to encourage people to leave these reviews, right? And you need to make it just dead on simple, because if it's not simple, people aren't going to do it. So like what I do is I have an automatic email drip campaign that I send out, and it's got a big old button that says Google, and they can leave the review that way. Because it's important that you make it easy for the people that are going to leave positive reviews. Because trust me, the people that want to leave negative reviews, they will go out of their way to find a way to leave a negative review. And there's nothing that we can do to stop the negative reviews. The best thing that we can do is counteract them with more volume of positive reviews. So it's important. So let's get into the actual managing process. So first things first, you need a Google account. we're managing a Google review. So if you're managing a Google review, you need a Google account. It has to be the Google account that's associated with the Google Business Profile. There's a couple different ways to get there, right? So you're always going to see this little icon. So if you go into Maps, this will be at the bottom. If you sign on to your Google account, like I'm listed as a manager for, this is one of my clients, they added me. So with that, you just click up here, then all of your icons will come. And as you can see, I scrolled down a bit. I got the Google Business Profile. However you're going there, when you see this icon, you click on this icon, this is the dashboard you're going to get. This is what's going to load for you. There's a whole series. We spent a lot of time on this last week, going over how to manage different aspects of this. What you're going to concentrate here to manage your reviews is click Read Reviews. Okay, so pretend we click that. That's going to load this page, right? This page is going by newest first, right? And these already have responses, so I don't need to respond here. I'm going to scroll down far enough. I found this one by Michael, and I needed to reply to this one, right? So now this is 6 months ago. In a perfect world, I would have done it within 6 days, right? Because you need to be prompt in your responses. But you click on reply, and this is what you get. You're going to get a pop-up box. How do you reply to that review? I send alerts to people that'll bring them right to this, and they'll come right to replying to this, right? So now you can also click on view full review. Most people have already read it on the previous page. I always tell people, like, craft your response on a separate document so that you can spell check and do all that other stuff, and then copy and paste it into here. And then you've got up to 4,000 characters. Don't use 4,000 characters. Nobody wants to read all that. Okay. But this is after I've pasted it, I used about 500 characters of the 4,000. And even that looked kind of long. So you get an idea of length for responses. One thing I do want to call out is we've got replying publicly. We also have this customer will be notified about your reply, and it will be publicly visible on your business profile. Google just doesn't do these things randomly. They do it because somebody didn't realize that that was the fact, and they probably thought that they were replying privately to the person, and they probably said something they shouldn't have, right? So it's important for us to be aware, rules of the road, understand the engagement here. And then once you're done, you just hit reply, and then this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like when you actually reply. This is when you're actively managing these. And this is important, and you should reply quite readily. A little bit more on this, on the how-tos on the replying. So we went over the know, like, and trust you. We also said that they're going to trust you based on your reviews, but it's not just the people leaving the reviews. It's also that customers want to see that you're committed to customer satisfaction. So they want to see those responses and those replies like I just showed you, right? So you need to reply to all of the reviews promptly, whether they're negative or positive. And keep in mind, depending on which study you look at and what your rating is and overall number, it takes anywhere from 12 to 40 positive reviews to overcome one negative review. So you have to have a lot of positive reviews, okay? Bears repeating, respond to all the reviews. You got to keep your responses positive. You want to use the negative feedback constructively. Don't take it personally, whatever you do. Act like other people are eavesdropping on your conversation, because they are. These are public conversations, right? If you don't take the high road, you have lost that interaction. Think of the people reading your response. What would they want to see from the business owner, not the person that might be insulted, from the business owner? And then really look at including your whole team in the process of soliciting and encouraging reviews. Let them all know how important they are to your business and how anyone can leave a review, and that you're making this a priority for your business, and that this is part of customer service. Definitely encourage customers to leave a review. We've talked about that quite a bit. And you should have a systematic process in order to do that, to make sure that they're asked. And like I said, big old button, make it super simple for them If it's not simple, they're not going to do it. And then you might actually want to be a reviewer yourself. I am. If you frequent a business, give them a review. It demonstrates you're committed to customer service for other people as well. And when folks read it, they'll know that. And when that business owner tells two friends, they'll know that. And you never know, reciprocity might kick in, and at some point, folks might return the favor if they do business with you as well. So it's a good plan. So we got a couple more minutes before we get into questions, and I'm going to just quickly go over some of the reuse of reviews. I know we only got a few minutes, Paul, so keep an eye on the clock for me, but I want to show people how to reuse these. What I want you to think about is people took time out of their busy day. They considered you, your products, your services, your business as a whole. Then either independently, usually when they're asked, they actually left your review. This is awesome, right? If you've done a good job, then it's a positive review. This is even better news, right? First things first, we want to respond to that review because trust me, that person knows they left it and they're expecting you to respond and they want to see what your response is, right? They want some validation and some acknowledgement. And then don't let that be a tree that falls in the woods. We want other people to know how great your business is. And we don't want to be the ones telling them ourselves. We want those independent third parties to tell them. Let's repurpose some awesome reviews and let's take them out for a spin so that other people can see them too, right? So how do we do that? Well, the next slide, I'm going to show you some fancy ways to do that and some of the more advanced stuff. But you have to keep in mind, like you've got a solid business profile now. You've got some solid reviews. You want to attract new customers. You want to attract them with these raving fans. Repurpose these reviews. You should be shouting this from the rooftops. You actually have independent third parties telling other people how great you are. Just like I was talking about that sneaker example, right? Why not shout it from the rooftops, right? These reviewers are your wingmen. Make the most out of it. And repetition is encouraged. Say it, then say it again and post it on all of your marketing channels because not everybody is on all of them, right? And like I said, I'm going to show you some eye-catching ways in a second here, but like look at Mountain View Cafe and Bakery. They just copied and pasted this. You don't like, yeah, fancy gets more wins and it looks better, but like you don't, if you don't have time for that, just copy and paste it. You still shout it from the rooftops, right? This is a little fancier. One of the services that I provide, this is from my profile, and this gives you information on, you can have like an automated snippet to give to your webmaster, and then this will automatically update on your website. It can be like a stream or it can be a carousel. And then it's automatically updated. You don't have to touch it again. Once you get that code, every time somebody adds a new review, like I have mine set so that any review 4.0 or higher actually gets auto loaded and then automatically goes right on my site from that code. And it's super helpful. And then this is one, I'll show you this on the next slide. So this is a little bit bigger so you can see it. So these are reviews this is a screenshot right from my website, right? So what people normally do is they'll take something like this, and this is just one of the templates that I created. People usually decide on like one or two templates, and then the only thing they need to change, they brand it to them, like my colors are green, right? So they brand it to them, and the only thing they're going to change is what the quote is, what the person's name is, in the picture. The rest is all going to stay the same. And they have one or two of these that they use, and they just use them over and over again for all of their fancy updates. And the template looks really good. And then this is testimonials. You don't have to pay attention to this top part. I want you to really look here. So when you look here, this is actually will stream through, and it shows you multiple, multiple aspects of. Let me go back to it. But you've got all of the reviews right there, and you can see all of them in use. That's a great way to reuse your reviews. So that's all I had to go over. We're almost at time. I want to leave a couple minutes for questions. This is all we went over. I'm not going to go over it again. This is a 3-part series. There's a lot to cover, obviously. I was rocking and rolling through all of this because I wanted to get you as much information as possible. I'm very passionate about this topic because we all need to use it. Feel free to come on the 16th. We're going to be going through both business profiles and reviews. We're going to put that all together, talk about those secret weapons to stand out from your competition. And I'm even going to give you a little bit of news from Google as a local guide. We're beta testing some new information that's going to come to a Google Maps near you in the very near future. So I'll give you that as well. So I hope you got a lot out of this. I'm available to answer questions. Paul, if you want to stop the recording for the questions.
I know how to